and of course, there are, to my mind, there are around 4 or 5 things which will define that whether you are a smart factory or not. Uh, are you ensuring that there are no accidents? Safety is number one. So safety, what is your track record on safety? The second is, what is your track record on the quality? What is your track record on the cost? What is your track record on the deliverables? Or on the smart workforce? Or on sustainability? Are you using the renewable energy? How are you, you know, uh, conserving water? Are you having, how are you treating your waste? Uh, I think all those 5, 6 factors, if you are doing your best, then of course you are a smart factory. Technology is only an enabler. End of the day, you have to see that it has to be accident free, it has to be zero defect, it has to be least cost, it has to meet the customer needs on time, your workforce has to be happy, and of course you have to be sustainable. You have to follow all these sustainable practices. If you are doing all this, then of course you are a smart factory.
Excellent. So sustainability there is again very important.
It's very, 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 very important.
Absolutely. And with the whole ESG agenda not just becoming the right thing to do, it's also now a center stage when it comes to the investment community as well. So on that note, let me open it up for the audience. I would like anybody who wants to ask a question right there. We have a gentleman up there. Sorry, sir, the one behind, he already has a microphone. And sir, you can go next.
So,
yeah.
can I?
Yes, please.
So my name is Chandan Chaudhary. I'm from Indian School of Business.
Right.
I wanted to share 2 things. One, we have done a study which is to understand impact of Industry 4.0 in the textile industries. And we looked at 103 job roles, which covered around 80 million workforce, on what are the likely impact on those jobs. So one of the findings I'm sharing, our study showed that almost 36% new job roles will be coming up, which will involve a lot of upskilling. That's one. We are now extending our study for the automotive sector. But I want to share with you one specific examples. So one of the companies in Hyderabad which deployed Industry 4.0, they have experienced very substantial increase in productivity. They have been able to bring down the consumption of energy, and their strategy has been also to cover the MSME supplier base. So they have also brought about a big transformation at their MSME sites. Net, they have substantially reduced their carbon footprint, not only of their company, but also MSMEs. And these MSMEs now are more geared up to be, supplying to global companies, because sustainability has become a very big issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. Absolutely, there are some very positive signs there. Gentleman here, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
I'm Prahlada, and I had been working with Dr. Kalam for missiles and aircraft. There, you made a very nice statement. Where are we after 5 years or after 10 years? Are we getting ready to face it after 5 or 10 years? That's a great question. And we got to learn from Dr. Kalam that there are 2 types of projects. You take R&D projects. One is within 2 to 3 years you can realize, like you are talking Industry 4.0, you can do it, because they are very fast moving technologies. There are certain things which take 8 to 10 years. Now you have to concentrate on what takes 10 years and plan now. And what takes 3 years, of course you plan, but you have to, if you don't plan for 10 years, you will never start. So these are we learned like. Now you see, you talk of 4.0 business model, everything you are talking. But what about the sensors, devices, actuators and motors? See, these take a long time. A good motor, it takes 10 years. You can't make it in 2 years, 3 years. Now if you look at China, for example, first they made the motor, they made the battery, then they entered into whatever you call it to 4.0 to produce and manufacture effectively. but you can't make it in 2-3 years a good motor. Now we are struggling to make batteries. Batteries, they say, take 10 years. So somebody should have taught 10 years ago. Now I am saying, today you think, today, Industry 4.0, what we require after 10 years. For example, if you look at the green technology, you need, for all I know, there is one school of thought which says in 10 years you will have hydrogen-based automotive engines, not diesel, not electric motors. Electric motors half the solution. The real is hydrogen-based motor. So you have to start hydrogen-based motor will come after 10 years. You start now, you will get after 10 years. Electric motor is not as green as hydrogen motor. Hydrogen motor is the best as far as greenness is concerned. So you plan now. For that you require new sensors, new motors, new technologies, new products, and 4.0 will be applicable for any manufacturing. So I would suggest people here to see what will be after 10 years to plan now. In addition to 4.0, which you can plan now, for which you will realize in about 3 to 4 years. This thought I thought I will share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that view. Absolutely. I think as a nation, we have to start thinking longer term and start doing things now. And of course, there is now an immediate as well. I think historically, we have always been struggling. Even the corporate India, we tend to think about the next year and of next few years. So increasingly, we have to think longer term. There is one last question that we'll take. We are at about, yes, go ahead, please.
Industry 4.0 opens up a huge avenue of opportunities by customizing things, which will increase the revenue bottom line also, and give you to use your infrastructure and your stock for manufacturing many different type of things that you can customize and sell it at a higher rate. That is also one of the things that Industry 4.0 does.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agreed with you. Yeah, I think we have time for one last question, if there's any out there. Okay, yes, sir. Can we have the microphone here for Mr. Shashank, please? Yeah.
Thank you. Since nobody had the question, so I thought I'll use the time. My question was, you had been asked, having an interface with the MSMEs and trying to bring them up. How much of government policies are helping in that? And, there are different policies. There is, heavy industry has one policy. MSME also has certain policy on MSMEs. So there are a whole bouquet of policies. So how are you helping MSMEs to sort of be aware of them, making the best use of them?
Mr. Agarwal, would you like to respond to that?
No, I think there is good, you can say, facilitation by the government to MSMEs, specifically the type of help which the government of India has given post-COVID and during the COVID, because MSMEs were the worst impacted, and the type of financial assistance or the type of hand-holding that was done, it was absolutely very good. And simultaneously, of course, the OEMs also have helped all their ancillaries and all the MSMEs so that they remain absolutely alive and afloat. Because if they go away or if they die, end of the day, all of us are going to suffer. So therefore, I think government has played an extremely good role in facilitating MSMEs. So it has been very good.
Would you like to add?
Shailesh, you want to add something?
Okay. So that's great. And I mean, just from my own perspective, I've been in this business advising clients for last 26 years. And I think last few years, I feel that the enabling environment that the government has created, and in many ways, the government is setting the agenda going forward. So I think that's really, really very heartening to see. Like this event on Industry 4.0 being facilitated by the government is a great step. So on that note, I'd like to, we are almost at time. I'd like to, request each of my panelists to take, answer one quick conclusive remark. And I want to say, if there's one thing that you would like to do within your organization or in the association that can help us make Industry 4.0 implementation, accelerate the implementation, what would that be? So let me put you, Eric, in a spot and say, if there was one thing that you want to do, what would that be? And you have about a minute. Yeah.
Yes. I think for us, the critical thing is as an industry to think of dramatic, expedited transformation because consumers already gone digital. And I think we would need, as an industry, to get together to create a certain set of technology standards and platforms in a way that allows us to dramatically reduce the cost of shifting to IIoT technologies, because that's the core of Industry 4.0. There are many other technologies, but that's the core. And in that, our experience has been that if we intervene, maybe through an agency like National Payment Corporation did marvelous work on intervening and putting technologies which has resulted in what you can see. India is today the defining country in terms of small financial transactions, medium financial transactions. I think we need to think in those terms if we really want this nation to overtake China and become number one in this sphere. It cannot be done by industrial loan, it cannot be done by off-the-shelf solutions.
So setting technical standards and bringing down the cost of technology.
Absolutely. I'm saying you replace a ThinkWorks with something which is an Indian stack and
Shailesh?
just open it up to everyone.
Shailesh?
I'd just like to say that the time is ripe. I think MHI has come with PLI schemes for advanced technologies and all. We are working on these advanced technologies. I think for me, one thing which I'm taking away from this conference is that when I'm expanding my capacity for something new, it is better to go right at that stage with an Industry 4.0. And I think that's going to really immensely help rather than, doing a old factory and trying to transform that into Industry 4.0. I think the low-hanging fruit would be any additional capacities that we are doing and that we are doing is a immediate candidate for me to go for industry.
So invest in new technology. Over to you, sir.
I think we have to continue to adopt ourselves to the new technologies, and we have to continue to evolve. And we have to be very clear that nothing is going to remain static. I think the better we prepare ourselves, better it will be for us. And we have to remain dynamic and ready for change.
Ready for change it is. And I do believe and concur on that point. If there is one thing that really needs to change, I believe it should be the changing mindset of the top leadership. Many of us are not digital natives, and we look at the whole Industry 4.0 journey in a very different way. So I think for me, it's about changing mindset, getting out there, doing gimbas, doing experimentation, not worrying always about ROI, and that's how we are going to really embark and accelerate on this journey. Thank you very much to all my panelists. I think we had a great session. Thank you for the wonderful audience and all the questions that you asked. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी महानुभावों का इतनी गहन और दिलचस्प चर्चा के लिए। मैं एक बार फिर से हमारे पैनलिस्ट का धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि इस चर्चा को सुनने का अवसर हमें दिया, और दर्शकों से अनुरोध करूँगी एक बार फिर से तालियां हो जाएं हमारे पैनलिस्ट के लिए। साथ ही अनुरोध करती हूँ माननीय सचिव श्री अरुण गोयल जी से कि कृपया हमारे पैनलिस्ट को स्मृति चिन्ह देकर इनका सम्मान करें। श्री अरुण गोयल जी, माननीय सचिव भारी उद्योग, भारत सरकार। और सबसे पहले इस पैनल डिस्कशन के मॉडरेटर श्री कवन मुख्तियार, पार्टनर मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग, ऑटोमोटिव सेक्टर लीडर, PwC इंडिया को श्री अरुण गोयल जी द्वारा स्मृति चिन्ह दिया जा रहा है। Shri Vinod Agrawal, President, Siam and MD and CEO, Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicles Limited. Shri Shailesh Chandra, Vice President, Siam and Managing Director, Tata Motors Passenger Vehicle Limited and Tata Electric Mobility Limited. Shri Eric Vas, President, Bajaj Auto. आप सबका बहुत धन्यवाद और धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगी हमारे माननीय सचिव श्री अरुण गोयल जी का भी। और मौसम यहाँ करवट लेते हुए बाहर जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं बारिश हो रही है और हमें चाय के लिए यहाँ ब्रेक करना पड़ेगा, तो आप सबसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया चाय एवं अल्पाहार के लिए डाइनिंग हॉल की तरफ प्रस्थान करें। आपके लिए अम्ब्रेलास का प्रबंध यहाँ कर दिया है हमने। चाय के ब्रेक के बाद हम फिर यहाँ एकत्रित होंगे हमारी अंतिम पैनल डिस्कशन के लिए। 3:45 का समय रहेगा। आप सबसे अनुरोध है कृपया चाय और अल्पाहार ग्रहण करके दोबारा इस सेमिनार हॉल में एकत्रित हों। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बारिश बहुत तेज़ होने के कारण चाय का प्रबंध इसी हॉल में किया जा रहा है। आप सब कृपया अपने स्थान ग्रहण कर लीजिए। आज के इस सम्मेलन पर इंद्रदेव की कृपा दृष्टि हुई है और आप सबके लिए चाय का प्रबंध यहीं होगा इसी हॉल में। और इस ब्रेक के बाद हम दोबारा रिज्यूम करेंगे। धन्यवाद। कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, बारिश अब बंद हो चुकी है, तो चाय के लिए जो लोग भी डाइनिंग हॉल की तरफ जाना चाहें, कृपया प्रस्थान कर सकते हैं। और एक और आवश्यक सूचना देना चाहूँगी, बाहर एक गुलाबी रंग का वॉलेट, लेडीज़ वॉलेट हमें मिला है। ये किसी का भी हो तो कृपया यहाँ मंच के पास आकर हमसे संपर्क करें। पिंक कलर का एक लेडीज़ वॉलेट हमें मिला है। जिसका भी ये वॉलेट हो, कृपया मंच के पास से ले जाएं। चाय एवं अल्पाहार के उपरांत इस सम्मेलन के अंतिम पैनल डिस्कशन में एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत करती हूँ। हॉल में उपस्थित सभी अतिथियों से अनुरोध है कि कृपया अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। सम्मेलन की अंतिम पैनल डिस्कशन कुछ ही समय में हम यहाँ इसका आरंभ करेंगे। इस पैनल डिस्कशन का विषय रहेगा सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्री 4.0 बाय इंडस्ट्री लाइट हाउसेस। मैं सभी अतिथियों से एक बार फिर अनुरोध करती हूँ कि कृपया अपना स्थान ग्रहण कर लें। बारिश के कारण एक छोटा सा विलंब हो रहा है। तो इस सम्मेलन के अंतिम पैनल डिस्कशन जिसका विषय सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ इंडस्ट्री 4.0 बाय इंडस्ट्री लाइट हाउसेस है, मैं इस पर चर्चा के लिए मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ श्री अविनाश सिंह, पार्टनर डेलॉयट टच तोमात्सु इंडिया LLP। श्री सिंह इस डिस्कशन का संचालन करेंगे और इस चर्चा में प्रतिभागी इस चर्चा के अन्य प्रतिभागी श्री ज्ञान प्रकाश, चीफ ऑटोमेशन टाटा स्टील लिमिटेड, श्री वेंकट गरिमेल्ला, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट स्ट्रैटेजी एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी श्नाइडर इलेक्ट्रिक, एवं श्री पुरुषोत्तम कौशिक, हेड सेंटर फॉर फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, इंडिया लाइजन ऑफिस। मैं आप सभी को इस पैनल डिस्कशन के लिए आमंत्रित करती हूँ एवं मंच सौंपती हूँ श्री अविनाश सिंह, पार्टनर डेलॉयट टच तोमात्सु इंडिया LLP को।
So good afternoon to all of you. So I know that we are the last panel and we are stopping you to go home, right? So don't worry, I think it will be an exciting panel and we are going to give you a lot of insights and that's what we are here for, right? So we have seen since morning 2 panels. We're talking about Industry 4 and then we are looked at also in what are the visions for the Industry 4. Then we looked at how we are doing it in auto. Now this panel is quite interesting, which we talk about successful implementation, right? So we have what we call it here as a lighthouses, right? Where people are looking at which are the lighthouses to look for, where we can get those kind of motivations for other industries to look out for, right? So we have in our panel Gyan, who is from Tata Steel, and they are also one of the lighthouses. If you look at in the world, there's only 108 plants who have got this distinction, and one plant, Gyan's plant, is one of them. Then we also have Schneider Electric, Hyderabad plant, Venkat. He's also one of the lighthouse plant. And we have Purushottam from World Economic Forum, who is instrumental in developing this program, Lighthouse, right? Before we go into the panel, just to set a context, like being a consultant, I'd always like to share some numbers, right? Without sharing numbers, you cannot be a consultant. Right? So please bear with me. Yeah. So if you look at, the trend, what we have seen in Industry 4. So in the last decade, the growth has increased 10 times. In 2011, the iPhone market was around 10 billion, which has in 2021 has come to around 108 billion, right? And what we have seen in the first year, 2011, the growth rate was around 5%. But now in 2021, this growth has increased to 20%, right? And what we are expecting is to 2028, we will have a 1.18 trillion kind of growth, which we are looking at for this Industry 4, right? So this is the growth which we are looking at, and Industry 4 is the next big thing, and we just cannot ignore it further, right? Also for Indian manufacturing, they are also in a pivotal point. If you look at the investment, what we are doing today, so around 5 to 6 billion investment we have been also doing, and almost 50% of this investments are in manufacturing related technology, right? That's a big thing. The only downside is that we are still only out of this investment, only 30% are, and all these are on POC stages here, right? So that is the real challenge which we need to work on, and we see how we can scale this implementations, and that is where this lighthouse comes to play, right? Now, if you look at it, to increase the pace, even the WEF report says that 70% of the companies globally, they are stuck in this POC kind of culture. Everybody is talking about proof of concepts, but then they don't take it further, right? There are only a handful of companies who are deploying this advanced manufacturing technology and taking the full benefit of that, both in financially as well as operational thing, right? So what we believe, what is required, for the successful implementation, if you look at it, what are the key elements which are required, right? In the morning and in the second session also, we have looked at that everything you cannot do. There are challenges in terms of You have to look at the ROI, which is, like rightly said in my earlier panel, is not the right thing to look at it. But whenever you go to the CFO, the first thing he will ask you, what is the ROI, right? I was just talking to my panelist member, even I think Venkat is going to talk about it. He's saying that even Schneider, these are the lighthouses. They don't look at any investment which is less than, if the ROI is more than 3 years, they just don't look at it, right? So that's one thing which we need to see how we can go about it, right? The other point is that we should also have an ecosystem partners with us, right? No company in today's world is good for everything, right? If we are going to work alone, if we are going to get the skills, that the technology which is required, it will take ages to achieve what we want to achieve, right? So it's the age of partnership, and we have to identify the ecosystem partners. When I say ecosystem partners, it can be consultants, it can be technology providers, it can be service providers, so that they can bring their innovation expertise, and it's your business, you can work together, right? So these are the two elements. And then the third element, which is very, very critical, is about the global competitiveness solutions, right? So if you want to have a successful implementations, we should also have a data bank or a lighthouse to see for, like where we want to achieve, from where we should take those kind of motivations, right? So that is where what we have seen is the lighthouses help. Now this is the network of companies we are looking at who have successfully deployed this advanced manufacturing technology concepts in their plants, and they have been getting the results both in terms of operational performances as well as in their financial profit and losses, right? So this will help us. In fact, it will also help us in the smoke. We are talking about MSMEs and other industries. They can also collaborate with these lighthouses and see that they can also, in fact, accelerate the adoption of Industry 4.0. Like I said, gone are the days where I hear people talking about think big, act small, and then you scale it up, right? So I think we have now in the critical juncture where the scaling part is now here, right? Now we should talk about how we can scale it up, because a lot of POCs and a lot of industries have been doing it. Now it's the time to get those benefits there, right? So to start, I'll just talk first for Purushottam to understand what is this Lighthouse campaign all about it. And I think before that, we'll have a short video, and then I'll ask Purushottam to start with, right? Can you play that?
The fourth industrial revolution technology is really changing the game.
There will be a fundamental shift in what consumers want and need.
They want it faster, they want it customized, they want it personalized.
So all of your value chain has to be designed accordingly.
Almost all companies are doing something around digital and analytics, but many of them have not really found a way to scale.
Companies are stuck in what we defined as the pilot purgatory.
They are trying thousand flower blooms approaches and are not very focused on how they are really creating early business impact.
For the very first time, advanced manufacturing technologies are helping companies transform the value chains end to end and develop new business models. Lighthouses are the most advanced factories in the world, so are points of lights for the broader community of manufacturers.
We define by 3W. One is a work reduction, how to be leaner, and one is a waste reduction, how to be greener, and worry reduction, how to become worry-free.
We are changing almost all of our product definition, configuration management, ERP system to be faster. That's the thing.
They are hyper-connected, which allows them to have all the devices synchronized and be able to make the most out of the data.
We decided early stage to focus on robotics, on sensorics, on analytics, and on visualization, all that embedded in an end-to-end connectivity environment.
We are more efficient in terms of maintenance, in terms of deliverable, in terms of reliability.
We have seen benefits in terms of cost savings. We have seen opportunities to accelerate product introductions. We have seen the capability to actually upskill our people.
Every year, we train our workers on data sharing, information, performance improvement in production, and then we train them on the usage of the technical tools, the digital tools.
We want to leverage digital to augment their capabilities, eliminating the unsafe, the repetitive, and non-value added tasks of the supply chain.
There's huge benefits on the sustainability standpoint for being a lighthouse. We're able to very accurately understand what our waste is. And that's not just material waste, but also energy waste.
There's a nimbleness and there's an efficiency that comes with applying these principles that today make business sense. They will soon be required in an economy, in an environment, in a world that is cycling much faster than it is today.
There is room for companies to be working together, learning from each other, and establishing new partnerships.
Great. Thank you so much. And before I even go to the Global Lighthouse Program introduction further, let me thank first Ministry of Heavy Industries for inviting us to this lovely, beautiful city, which I don't think I ever have come without this invite. So thank you so much, and such a nice weather as well. Now, Global Lighthouse Program as such, I think you saw this. And as Avinash said, 70% of the industries are still stuck in this pilot phase. And there are various reasons for that. And to take them ahead and to maybe scale it further, there is a strong need of cross-learning between industries. There is a strong need of creating those use cases libraries where industries can kind of get inspired through them. That's what Global Lighthouse Program was. Now, why they're stuck in these pilot phases is, I think you will possibly understand, many of you who are going through these pilot phases, when we say 4IR, or Fourth Industrial Revolution, it's practically not just like putting sensors in machines and then looking at, okay, fine, 4IR done. It's Fourth Industrial Revolution is a combination of technologies. And it would mean IoT, obviously sensors. It also means AI, which is completely shaping the intelligence of the data which is getting derived from those sensors. It also means AR, VR, blockchain, maybe you can now converge it together as metaverse. The new experience, how it will look like for learning, for retail experience, for any of the other industries. It also means nanomaterials. It also means additive manufacturing. It also means bioengineering, which will change the whole material sciences in this ecosystem, for even like construction or anything else. So practically, it's all these combination of technologies which are playing out. And what is so kind of common uniform? Unpredictability. Unpredictability of which phase we are in, how will it really shape up, how will it integrate, is a big challenge all across the industries. And that's where the problem comes in, when the impact is not just economical. We spoke about cost reduction, we spoke about maybe revenue enhancement, but the impact is much more holistic. The ecosystems are getting disrupted. If you just take an example of additive manufacturing, which would mean the whole design is changing. It's no more the standard design which we used to do. That design is so much software-centric. The whole manufacturing is changing. The same engineering which we learned in our engineering days is no more applicable. It is printing. It's practically, it's like building layer over layer. So do the same engineering principles of strength and mechanics work on that kind of principle? The whole logistics is changing. It's like getting printed at the doorstep, which would mean that the whole logistics, insurance, everything gets disrupted. Your skill level, your engineering. So practically we are talking about complete disruption of ecosystem, and that is happening across all the technologies that we're talking about. And it becomes more and more complex when the combinatorial power comes into the picture of like how AI, blockchain, IoT is working together. So that's where that's why all these technologies are really struggling and stuck in pilot phase. And there's a strong need of cross-learning. There is a strong need of getting inspired from one another use cases. That's where the Lighthouse program comes into the picture. And when we look at what is this has resulted, there are 103 such lighthouse factories. Two of them are here with us, who will talk about the use cases. And they are a part of this global benchmarking program, which would mean that we can possibly, they are in multiple geographies, they are in multiple industries. It could be process industry, it could be consumer packaging industries, it could be like even advanced engineering industry. So it's pretty much all across the industries. It could be of different sizes. They're not like only like large industry, they could be of various scales. So practically what we are saying is that there is a need of this kind of a ecosystem getting visualized and getting built. Now, subsequently, what possibly the process follows is also a big inspiration, because when you go through this process, for sure you are benchmarking yourselves to the best in the global ecosystem, which would mean that when you go through this kind of whole learning process, you look at all your processes internally, and not just the engineering processes, but then you're also looking at, as in earlier panel it was getting discussed, even your human processes, even your sustainability practices. So all those pieces are getting challenged when you're looking at it in terms of benchmarking itself. It also gives you a platform where you can, because when you go through this learning, you can position yourself with policy. Like right now we have MHI here and we have MSME here. We practically can have this discussion of why do we need different kind of policies? And what is it that innovation will kind of challenge us? That's where it is leading to the kind of a discussion. And that's what the Global Lighthouse program is. Maybe we can give more details, but then this was possibly to just set the base.
Oh, great. So what I hear is that it's a repository of use cases, right? So now let's hear from the industry who has done it, right? So Gyan, what I want to understand here, like he said, it's an experience itself to apply for this lighthouse kind of opportunity. I want to understand when you were thinking that, okay, now I'm ready for lighthouse or applying for this. So when is that moment when the industry understands that, okay, I have done what is required to be a lighthouse, where I can support my other fellow manufacturers and I can also contribute to these repositories?
So I'll explain our journeys with slightly going back. When we found that the industry is going towards this industry 4.0, a lot of sensorization, software technology is evolving, IT technology is evolving, then we found that at Pockets, people were taking some initiatives and doing some experimentation with this new technology and calling our senior leadership to showcase these outcomes. And it was limited to that only. People were not thinking about what is return on investment, how can horizontally we deploy, how can we scale up these things. So then also there was lack of understanding of this new technology with senior leadership. So first we started our program which we call reverse mentorship program. So in that what we found that some youngsters who were tech savvy, they were assigned to mentor the senior leadership team. And they started teaching the new techniques, new technology, how it can be leveraged and how it can give advantage. So that was the first step. Then all senior leadership team was sent all across the globe to see what are the new technology available across the globe. Then finally that accelerated. Then we focus how these technology can be deployed and this can be converted into big or ROI, maybe 6 times, 7 times on investment. So in that way, it created competition between units. One plant itself started competing with other plants within same industry, and also taking help of some ecosystem, which is our startups or academia. So we took help from everyone, and then we started creating different kind of use cases. When we talk about use cases, level 2 process modeling and that thing were existing since many years. But what we found that only sensor technology may not be required to accelerate your journey. The existing data is good enough to achieve at least 70% of your achievements. So we started leveraging on existing data, putting more analytics, video analytics also played some role to come out with new use cases. All these things we started, and what we found that some of the unsolved problems, when we started working on those and we found some good results and some unique case we started finding, and they were giving a lot of return on investment. So then we came to that point that now we are ready that and we should go for Lighthouse. And when we found that it is horizontally getting deployed all across, people are getting trained. So we started School of Excellence that was for machine learning, AI, and all other things. So a lot of people were trained on that so that we are self-sufficient to convert these knowledge into results. So when we were ready with all these things, then we started going for, or I would say, challenging lighthouse. So that was the point.
Oh, great. So what I hear from you is that you have also worked on building your organization capabilities, right? Upskilling the people with the requirements, and then you have shown or demonstrated the results, and then only you said that you are ready for this I4, right?
Correct.
So Venkat, like I said, it's a journey, right? You cannot achieve a lighthouse in a day or maybe a year. It has taken a journey towards it, right? And what we have seen, if you look at all the people who are here, now in a journey we have, like in the morning people were talking about, I have assets, which is also in legacy, and then there are some new equipments, right? So how should I invest more into this? Now, if I want to do Industry 4.0, oh, again, I have to buy some new equipments, or the censoring cost is going to increase. So how are you going to integrate the legacy versus the new equipment? So how you have addressed those challenges in your Hyderabad plant? That's what we're eager to know.
Sure. All right. First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and big thanks to Sri Vijay Mittalji and the MHI for giving this opportunity to be here, and very pleased to be in the gathering of experts on the panel. And Vijayji was always looking for an opportunity to come to this place because having stayed in state of Gujarat for more than 35 years, I never had the opportunity to come here. So I'm very happy to be here, and really a wonderful place and great arrangements that you have done. Now coming to the topic, Schneider Electric, we will be completing 60 years in India in 2023, next year. We had a great journey in India. Today, as we speak, we have about 30 manufacturing units in India. Significant part of our output of these manufacturing units is exported to other parts of the world for Schneider. So indeed, we are in a way contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. I like what Avinash said. The whole journey of digitization. How do we move? By the way, I have my expert on the topic also in the room, Devdas Shetty, who is the kind of I would say the writer, producer, and director of our Hyderabad factory, smart factory, a lighthouse factory. Provide digital products and solutions to enable our customers to embark on digital transformation, right? So doing this digital transformation in our own factory, getting on to the best available standards, recognition from World Economic Forum was like walking the talk, was like eating our own food, right? So in that way, we are very, very pleased to have this kind of recognition. How did this happen? Specifically, Avinash, you talked about Hyderabad factory. This factory was started in 2006. And it was one of the early days for Schneider manufacturing footprint in India, and we have come a long way. Our serious digital transformation really started in 2018, right? So, the way we looked at is basically to solve some critical business problems. We saw digitization or digital transformation as an opportunity for systematic problem solving. That was the kind of approach, right? And as we are technology providers for all the digital transformation, we have a very simplified view. In fact, many of the lighthouse sites in the world are using our technology as well. And what is this technology that I'm talking about? It's a very simple architecture. It's not a product called A or a product called B. It is a architecture which has got three levels to make it very simple. One is the connected layer. The second is the edge control or edge layer. And the third layer is the apps analytics and essentially the cloud-based AI, ML kind of engine. So it is a three-layer digital architecture which can be deployed whether it is a machine or a plant or a building or a grid or a data center, right? Now, what are the essential elements of this architecture? It is first interoperable, it is open, can be easily integrated with the legacy systems, with third-party systems, I think this is very, very important. Purushottam talked about it. Any digital transformation is a combination of so many other platforms in a manufacturing setup. So architecture, level 1, level 2, level 3 is all open, interoperable, and can be scaled basis the way you want to progress. The way we started and the way we recommend most of our customers is to do first your digitization of a machine, right? See that the machine digitization across all these three stages of connected layer in the machine sensorization. Then we have edge. Edge is basically nothing but a software suite which will automate the whole functioning of the machine. And with all those things, the data that you gather, you kind of pump it onto the cloud, and then you run your machine learning and all the other algorithms to have a good asset lifecycle management. So first, we would want machines to get smarter, machines to get digitized, and then bit by bit, you go around connecting or looping all the other processes and functions. It takes time. It takes time. It takes, of course, investments, and it takes a good amount of management bandwidth transformation to happen. Jan talked about the skills and all those things. Yes, that is super critical. Let's all assume that we don't know so much about it so far as digital transformation is concerned. I think that's the right assumption to start with, right? And hence, that opens up the opportunity for learning, skilling ourselves. There are different ways of learning, different ways and means of getting ourselves educated. Forums like this are extremely helpful, right? So learning is super, super critical. And there are many external ecosystem partners which can also help. I'll come on this a little later. But all in all, just to summarize, a step-by-step process over a sustained period of time and taking bit by bit is what we kind of build our digital transformation.
Great, great. So step by step, that's what we hear, and that is what I've been hearing since morning, right? So let's understand, when we're talking about data, right? And we are talking about all interaction of data, even analytics, and also sharing our data on clouds and all. So one thing which keeps in mind, right? It comes to our mind that what about security, right? What about my privacy of data? So Purushottam, if you can throw some light, like how we can make this more, in fact, take the fear out of the mind of our industry colleagues to say that, okay, the privacy and the security is being looked after for. And it's not like if you're making it transparent or you're making it a lighthouse and you are just giving your data away to everyone.
Yeah. No, those are the real issues which are becoming and why they're stuck at 70%. See, there are these governance issues which would mean, like Eric was saying in the last panel discussion, where why should I share my IoT sensor data with an external ecosystem? The other issue could be that what if cyber attacks happen on my sensors and then my factory is at ransom? These are real challenges. So safety, security, IP rights. There are other big issues. Like if I'm designing a product and then I'm giving the design to someone else to print or maybe something to a remote operations, how does my IP rights get protected? Standards and interoperability are other big issues. That was also a topic of discussion, whether India should have its own standards, should we follow global standards, what is the interoperability of these standards, and that's something which is going to be another big challenge. Accountability is another issue, transparency is another issue. In terms of what if something goes wrong when you give your product to someone else who is using it as a product of IoTization. So these are all technology governance issues which in isolation will not get solved. And unless and until we really get all the stakeholders on the same table, bring these issues, and these are really elephants in the room, which need to be brought in and be solved threadbare, because unless and until you solve these, there is no trust in the ecosystem. And that's where it will limit its scale subsequently. Now, these issues which are more on the governance and possibly policy and more like developing trust. The other issues which are happening which are lying on the edge of kind of ethics, right? In the terms of when the technologies are the technologies really inclusive? Are we designing products which are for all, especially applicable in the context like India, where the masses or for the population scale, if we really want to build products, and that was another discussion which came up, is that am I doing maybe Industry 4.0 for myself or for consumers, which would mean consumers in the context what we are operating in is like inclusivity. Are we designing products for everyone? Are products having biases within it? When we talk of AI, which is like pretty much talked about, but then most of the technology that we're talking about have a tendency of getting biased. So those challenges which are sitting on the edge of biases, inclusivity, and privacy as well, like why, to the extent of personal privacy of data getting, like we are all talking of health sensors and devices where every data which I have is going into a different product which is sitting somewhere outside the world or maybe some other national boundary. I don't have any control, and those cloud operators don't want to share the data with each other. So the real challenge on these levels are becoming a big issue. And none of the impact, when we say that, okay, fine, it's only I spoke about it, it's just the cost or the revenue. No, the impact is political, the impact is social. The impact is disruption, like Mr. Chandan Chaudhary from ISP, I think last time he was asking a question that they mapped only the textile ecosystem and figured out that there are 39 new job categories. If you read World Economic Forum's report and see the kind of the new skills, new jobs which are getting created and the new existing jobs which are getting disrupted, itself is going to be a big social disruption itself. So it's a kind of a societal impact. It's a political impact. It's an economical impact. Obviously, it is an environmental impact. Maybe examples could be if today the additive manufacturing share is maybe say 1 or 2%. But then if it increases, there is currently all the manufacturing is based on reducing manufacturing. And now the whole material wastage in this, how much of it gets recycled? Practically, if it is additive printing, you will be able to reduce the cost and save the environment significantly. So that's where, and plus you add the logistics cost because you're not shifting material, moving material from one region to other region to third region, right? So that's something which is environmental impact. So this is like a holistic picture that we need to look at. And then we need to look at holistic governance ecosystem of bringing all the stakeholders together and solving some of those things. And then looking at the ethical side of things, that how do we really solve some of those ethical issues as well. So these 3 or 4 aspects is what possibly will help it scale and will maybe possibly we'll have many more Schneiders and Tata Steels in the country.
Sure. And I think data security is the most critical element here, because when we are talking about Industry 4.0, we should not forget about the security is paramount. You cannot just implement things and see that my data is being shared with everyone. And it's a thing like somebody was saying, you know, we are all digital enabled. In fact, we are trying to save our personal data on mobile phones. So this has to be for bare minimum, which we should start. It's no digital transformation is complete without this security, right? So that's a very, very important element, and we have to work on that, right? Now, going ahead, you know, since we're talking about now we have 2 people who are already a lighthouse, so we cannot let them go unless they talk about some use cases, right? Some use cases for the benefit of other colleagues who have joined us and see how we have done it, right? So Gyan, if you can share use cases which you feel is in the areas of AI, predictive maintenance and all. Talk about the use case, what was the business case, how did you arrive at those solutions, and then what benefits did you achieve, right? So that is, if you can take 1 or 2 use cases for the benefit of all, it would be great.
So before I go to use case, I would extend the security part, because that is very important when you are democratizing the data. That data should be available to the people or the person who is authorized for that. So it consists of OT. If you talk about industrial environment, it is OT security and IT security. So IT security, we had a lot of measures to control the data is restricted and it is not unnecessary access by anyone and everyone. But OT was always a challenging area. So there are technology now these days by which you can access and at least monitor which PLC is sending what kind of data, what are the changes taking place in PLC or HMI network, and what if there is any unnecessary or large amount of data is taking place. All these can be caught in advance and taken care. So security has improved upon last few years, and OT IT security, at least we cannot say that it is giving guarantee, but at least it is giving assurance that nothing can go wrong, or there are very less chances of going wrong. Now coming back to use case, so I'll start with safety, because safety is one of the biggest concern in our type of industry. So when we started, we found that a lot of workers, our own employee, are going inside, and they are going inside the huge plant and various locations, and some of the location could be hazardous. So what we did, that we started giving kind of one pass system, and with that they can be tracked anywhere inside the plant, and each person is mapped with respect to his or her skill matrix. If his or her skill is allowed to go to that location or do such kind of jobs. Also, they can be monitored anytime, and whether the permit has been given to those persons to work in that area. So each and every person inside the plant is tracked real time, whether he or she is supposed to be there or not, with all required skill and permission. So this has solved our people going inside the huge plant, going anywhere, and getting something which converts into unsafe things. So that was one use case, I would say. Also, we have distributed smartwatch by which the lone worker can be monitored continuously. His health parameter can be monitored continuously, and it has saved, I would say, at least 30 to 40 lives inside the plant, in which we could get real-time alert timely, and they were treated timely, and they could be saved. So that is in the area of safety. During COVID times, we put video analytics to find what is the distance between two people, if people are using mask or not. These are some of the common cases. Going back to next important thing is environment. So we have got a big ESP and bag filters to maintain environment or pollution control norms. So we put some of the sensors, and we started monitoring whether these are deviating or deteriorating based on past data and machine learning. Also, we deployed process parameters were taken into, and we could predict that this is the time we should intervene so that the pollution does not exceed the prescribed limit. So that was in terms of controlling asset health, so that environmental norms can be controlled. The second aspect was that even after doing that, if you are finding that it is beyond capability of existing pollution control equipment, then we started working on process parameters. So we created digital twin of the process, and it was comprising of all the raw material input, the machine parameter, process parameter, and it was kind of optimizing everything so that your production is also not suffered, and you are able to control environmental or norms within that prescribed limit. So without spending on or doing capex investment, you could achieve. So this was one of the example we could do that. And continuing with some different kind of example, like we did some analytics case in which we could at least decide when to produce, what to produce, and where to produce. So you can get raw material from every location or multiple places, different types of raw material. And we had different manufacturing locations also, but which location and which plant will be beneficial, looking at the raw material cost, the process to be followed, which kind of raw material to be used, and what are potential customer where it has to be sent. So optimizing everything, the entire learning module was created, and it was predicting how to utilize our production units. So these are a few examples. I can further extend, but I'll give it to.
Yeah, so if I hear it looks very simple, but still being such a complex process, and just optimizing with making a digital twin itself is a very, very big achievement, and that's what we can do with digital today, right? So I'm saying without any investment, and if you're looking at reducing the sustainability, hats off to it. So that's what the potential is, right? Now coming back to Venkat, right? I think you also wanted to share something about sustainability.
Yeah.
And so I think before that, do you want to show that video, the group?
Yeah, maybe I will, sorry, I'm audible, right?
Yeah, we can hear you, I think.
Okay, so, yeah. Sure, I think it's working, yeah. So I think I will share some use cases, and then we can see a quick video. So clearly, the use cases are around, those 3-4 imperatives of any manufacturing, right? We have the priority of managing the volume, the variability in terms of different SKUs. We also want a good visibility, right? So these are some areas where we had a very good positive outcome. As I said, our journey of digitization started in 2018, and in 3 years, we could really see a significant reduction in our energy consumption. Our energy consumption in these three years has come down to close to about 25 to 27%, and that's phenomenal, right? How did we do it? The same 3-stack, right? You connect, you sensorize all your energy ecosystem, and then you have OT layer of edge control software to manage, and then you have the lifecycle management through analytics, big data on the cloud. So energy efficiency, 25, 27% over these 3 years. The other thing is, the second thing is the machine productivity and man-hour productivity. This also kind of contributed close to about 9-10% in these 3 years. The machine productivity, we have implemented AR, augmented reality, which helps us to bring down, let's say, mean time to repair, right? Even mean time to failure has come down significantly because of our approach of not having a reactive maintenance, but more of predictive, right, and preventive maintenance. So our man-hour efficiency, machine efficiency has improved significantly, 9-10% in these 3 years. The other thing is, the third use case is our supplier rejection has significantly gone down, close to about 40 to 50%. And this is very critical. What do we make in Hyderabad factory? Let me give 30 seconds view on what we do. We produce mission critical products. These are all air circuit breakers, which are powering all the buildings, industries, whether it's a thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, or a smart grid, or a building, or a convention center like this. So these are all mission critical equipments which are not visible normally, but they are right at the back. So we produce huge volumes of these, 1 lakh plus air circuit breakers in a year, close to about 2 million MCCBs in a year, and 5 million contactors, electromechanical switches in a year. So huge volumes, and we have a huge supplier base, and hence managing the supplier base and having an end-to-end control tower visibility of what the supplier processes is, what is happening there, and how is that getting connected to our orders from the business. I think this is a very, very strong digital ecosystem that we have built, and we can have a full view and control of the processes of our suppliers. Our supplier rejection has significantly gone down. There could be many, but I think I'll stop. And the last one, which I want to bring up here, is our lead time. Our lead time earlier was about 15-20 days for a circuit breaker. Circuit breaker is a 200 kg electromechanical piece. There are 800 components inside, and when they are installed, they work 30 years non-stop. So this piece, the delivery lead time was 15 days. Now we have brought it down to about 5 days, right? So these are some of the benefits that we have seen. And as I was telling Avinash, in our company at Schneider, any investment which has a ROI more than 3 years, it's a no-no. We don't do it, right? The ROI for all these digital transformation that we started in 2018 and almost kind of completed, for which we got the lighthouse, we have a ROI of 1.5 years, and that's phenomenal. I think that's music to ears. To at least CFOs will be very excited about it. And that's the story. That is what we tell our customers also, that it's not such a complex thing. It is not that you do it because you've been hearing about it. This is going to solve some problems for you. This is going to build yourself for the future. This is going to help you become more competitive in the future. So these are the kind of outcomes that we discuss with our customers. So these are some use cases. Sustainability, yes. Our energy efficiency has indeed a big contribution for emissions to come down. 1,500 million tons of CO2 reduced over these many years. Our water consumption has gone down close to about 20-30%, right? And this continues. We will be soon a zero CO2 site. Hyderabad will be soon zero CO2 site, and maybe Sustainability Lighthouse can also be then recognized by World Economic Forum. So far, we are only lighthouse for the digital transformation, but IR 4.0, but not for sustainability, but soon we will get there. So I think there are immense use cases. And my last point is never embark on the digital transformation if your problem statement is not on the table, if your business case is not compelling enough. As simple as that. Digital transformation is not about technology. It is more about, you know, the whole strategy of making yourself more successful in the business. So that's just to summarize.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it's an enabler. The real problem you are solving is a business problem, and Industry 4.0 is just an enabler to it, right? Yeah, so I think, can we play that video?
Yeah.
So let's see.
About the video. Please go ahead.
Let's see an Indian plant, a lighthouse. We have seen a foreign location. Let's see an Indian location now. The Murphy's Law is at play.
And maybe Avinash, I can take 30 seconds. Sorry, let's start. Sorry.
Schneider Electric, a global specialist in energy management and automation with operations in more than 100 countries, welcomes you to GSC Hyderabad plant, the first smart factory in India. Powered by EcoStruxure, driving digital transformation and process automation. Set up over a decade ago to deliver medium and low voltage distribution and industrial control products, and further growing consistently with future-ready new offers. The factory has transformed from traditional lean manufacturing to smart manufacturing by leveraging EcoStruxure solutions to improve its safety, reliability, efficiency, sustainability and connectivity.
EcoStruxure is Schneider Electric's IoT-enabled, plug-and-play, open, interoperable architecture and platform, which allows innovation at every level from connected products to edge control, and apps, analytics and services. Leveraging our deep domain knowledge and applied experience in 4 end markets, we deploy solutions based on 6 validated reference architectures: building, power, IT, machine, plant, and grid. At the heart of our IoT system architecture is the EcoStruxure platform, connecting everything in our facility, from the shop floor to the top floor. EcoStruxure Building is an open, scalable, and secure collaborative Internet of Things platform that connects everything from sensors to services to unlock building value. This innovative solution makes buildings and the people within work smarter by driving efficiency, comfort, and productivity. Facility managers gain a comprehensive and highly revealing view of a building, enabling them to play a more strategic and proactive role with immediate insights on a building's performance. Hyderabad site has integrated video expert, security expert, and fire expert in one platform of EcoStruxure Building, with connected products like laser-based smoke detectors, access door controllers, smart CCTV cameras, fire control panels, CO2 sensors, dust level sensors, temperature and humidity sensors.
Power Monitoring Expert is the window to digitized power network. It leverages IoT connectivity and distributed intelligence to provide flexibility and adaptability needed for the IoT-enabled future, bringing unique new capabilities that make it simpler to protect people and assets, keep operations running, and save time and money. PME allows to make informed decisions for improving power system performance. It ensures reliable network operation, equipment performance, and reduced network outages, thereby delivering more than 15% energy savings year on year. These initiatives have been appreciated at various national and global platforms.
EcoStruxure Machine has brought us key technologies for product connectivity and edge control on our premises to provide analytics and digital services for smart operations. All of our state-of-art machines to send critical data to Magellan's Edge Box to provide real-time data to Insight Online for actionable intelligence. Online condition monitoring of critical parameters with respect to machines to track and notify technicians about abnormalities, enables timely preventive actions to reduce unpredicted downtimes. EcoStruxure Augmented Operator Advisor is helping us to improve operational efficiency with augmented reality, enabling technicians to superimpose current data and virtual objects to propose corrective action and reduce people dependency. The smart factory processes are digitized end-to-end. The plant incoming quality control is equipped with cutting-edge technologies for measurement of complex profile parts by state-of-art instruments to handle 4,000+ parts efficiently. Digital truck management system monitors complete tracking of parts from the supplier. Smart ASN receiving process identifies red and green channel suppliers for an efficient put-away process. Smart data capturing of incoming parts and e-Kanban for material replenishment.
In EcoStruxure plant, we have deployed lean digitization system which is scalable and adaptable operations performance management tool built using IoT concepts. Eonda has replaced manual tracking of barriers and improves efficiency and response time of support functions. Smart alerts are empowering the shop floor teams on all barriers and helps to identify the early signals and continuous improvement opportunities. E-Performance module provides real-time production output and efficiency monitoring. E-Work order management has eliminated manual recording of orders, thereby improving service level to our customers by flawless execution. We have deployed advanced technologies for rapid prototyping, digital work instructions, automatic material movement and robotics for improved productivity and seamless manufacturing.
We have digital tracking of parts, critical process parameters, line and man-through traceability tool. ProQMS module helps to calculate real-time process capability by creating control chart dashboards and send notifications if the process goes out of control. Digitization of checklists has been realized by implementing QDisc. Smart Rejection Tracker is an add-on to track non-quality cost with auto alert, historical data, criticality, and isochronous chart through data analysis. With the help of GSC Analytics team, business intelligent tools are enabling us to take quick actions. And our decision makers have the access of all the needy information always, anytime, and from any device. Automated guided vehicle for evacuation of finished goods through intelligent routing system enables us to improve support function efficiency. Finished goods are scanned to ensure correct reference and quantity, then dispatched to each and every customer every time across the globe.
Akshara, the world-class training center at Hyderabad, is designed to create and deliver effective manufacturing training programs for onboarding people, simulation-based trainings to demonstrate safety procedures, ergonomy, quality consciousness, lean concepts, warehouse operations and a digital learning corner for e-learning. At the end of training, digital skill assessment is done using voting pads and sustained with digitized versatility management tool to track and improve skill levels. This smart factory is equipped with passionate team of close to 1,000 direct employees representing around 19 states from the country, with 2/3 of our workforce being women. The workplace is fine amalgamation of variety of initiations and infrastructure to facilitate all aspects of well-being like physical, emotional, social, mental and spiritual.
The smart team at Hyderabad, powered by EcoStruxure, demonstrates the latest advancement in mobility, cloud technology, sensing, analytics and cybersecurity for manufacturing world-class mission-critical products by tapping into the true potential of the Internet of Things. We, at Schneider Electric Hyderabad, ensure that life is on, everywhere, for everyone, at every moment.
Thank you, Venkat, for showing us this video. I think we have seen that in implementation of all the things which we're talking about here, right? So before I open up for question, I think just one element which I wanted to take your opinions also on this ecosystem partners, right? Because this journey is not possible if you're going to do all of this on your own. So you require some ecosystem partners, and I want to understand what was the role in your effort on this journey which you have taken in terms of ecosystem partners? And maybe Schneider Electric can be one of the partner for others also in their journey for this Industry 4.0. Maybe Gyan, you can take it, and then I'll ask Venkat to talk about it.
Yeah, Vinash, so you very well talked about this ecosystem role. So if you look at that, every industry cannot do all the things themselves. They need some dedicated workforce who can work on your problems, work along with you, and bring different perspective and expertise all around the world so that it can be solved. So if you talk about our industry, we also involve many startups, as well as we take help from IIT professors also, we involve them. And we jointly work with our experience, our industry experience, with startup experience, their technology and academia. So they also contribute immensely. And we need to have close collaboration with everyone and consistent collaboration. That is also key to success. So that is the role of ecosystem. And also in that way, it's not that we are only getting benefited, they are also getting benefited, their experience is getting enhanced, and they are also learning new techniques, technology, and helping other industry in a similar way. So that is role of ecosystem.
And how do you select an ecosystem partner? Like, because today there are so many startups, and then how do you say this is the right choice?
So we basically examine what is their past experience, their potential, their connect also. So it's not that they are coming alone with their own team. They have also connect with various other partners. So that is also very important. So these are few parameters through which we connect.
I was hoping that you'll say that Deloitte is the part of it. So. Sorry, just to take it lightly. Yeah, Venkat, now,
Yeah,
what
I
is
think,
your opinion
yeah.
about it? Yeah.
First of all, just to let you know, everyone is welcome to visit our factory in Hyderabad, and we would love to host you. We only saw about 7-minute story, but there's a lot of story out there, and we do this on a regular basis. The CII, FICI, IFCI, we do those learning expeditions. Everyone is free to please visit us. Now, so far about, the ecosystem partners. I think that is very critical. We, on this journey, we first of all create our own system integrators in the organization. Today we have more than 100 plus system integrators officially certified and appointed by Schneider Electric in India. And they have different level of expertise for EcoStruxure plant or EcoStruxure machine. By the way, EcoStruxure is nothing but our 3-stack digital architecture. So we have system integrators in India, 100 plus, who have this competency for different domains, whether it's a plastic or whether it's a food industry or a dairy industry or a metal and mining industry. There is an expertise of our system integrators to put this 3-stack EcoStruxure digital infrastructure. So that is one. Second, we also work with startups, and that has been a kind of a recent development, and we are trying it out, and we get some very interesting insights. We get some problems solved, we get some interesting learnings, or sometimes we get some very strange questions of the way we do our work. So working with startups also is one way to, leverage the ecosystem around. The third is academia. We work with institutes, and there are some research projects that we would want to work. We have started working with some of the institutes. I don't want to name them, but there are some projects that we jointly undertake with them. All in all, we are all in together learning every day. Another interesting thing here in this whole digital transformation is things are evolving so fast, whether it is cybersecurity, IoT, 5G is around the corner, use cases are going to change. So one has to have the appetite of unlearning and relearning throughout, right? You will never be in a state where you know it all, unfortunately. You will have to be on your toes. And I think that's something which is very, I would say, usual, sometimes also challenging. You need to have a great appetite to kind of learn if you're on this journey. And keep engaging with your stakeholders. We tell our customers, sometimes that you copy, learn, teach. Keep doing this, copy, learn, teach, right? So I think that's my bit on leveraging the ecosystem.
Yeah, so just 1 minute before I open for the question, maybe Purushottam, can you just talk about your center which is there in India, where you are also inviting academias and also companies to come out and practice there or learn some new things in your lab. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the India Center of World Economic Forum was opened in October 2018. And it is mainly focusing on the role of 4IR technologies across various core sectors. We work in domains like agriculture, healthcare, urban transformation. Obviously, Industry 4.0 is the larger picture that we have. And the center in India is mainly looking at how do we build multi-stakeholder partnerships. That's one, because we were discussing earlier, ecosystems, none of the problems can get solved in isolation now. whether it's going to be standards, interoperability, privacy, security, whatever we may talk about, these have much bigger impact, and it needs multi-stakeholder dialogues, including government, including industries, startups, academia, and also a lot of think tanks which we need to bring them on the same table. The other thing which we do is that creating insights and frameworks, which would mean like obviously experts like these come together on the table. They create those frameworks which can be practiced by other industries for further inspiration, scale. That's something which we do pretty much. There are quite a few state governments and industries who are doing actual pilots on the ground for evidence learning, because many of these have never been experimented at a scale and an impact level. And unless and until, if I may say that we are using thermal imaging and AI for early detection of cancer, which is one of the biggest problem, it's like there is no trust in the system. Like doctors don't want to trust that results which are coming up. So it needs a lot of evidence-based learning, which is happening in various states. Meghalaya is testing it, Telangana is testing it, MP is doing it. So we are doing it in food, we are doing it in health, we are doing it in agriculture. So that's something which we do through evidence-based learning. And we are happy to invite all our partners to see how do we kind of scale some of their existing efforts. Lighthouses is one, certainly an example. But then there are various other means to scale these technologies.
Great, great. Yeah, so I think we are now open to questions. Maybe we are on time for a question. Yeah. Can we have a mic for this gentleman?
Good afternoon, good evening, sir. It was a very nice presentation, and really good to see so many perfect examples. But what I want to point out is when there is a lighthouse and everything is arranged and working perfectly, it looks very simple, right? One does not really understand the struggle, which is what a beginner into the journey must actually prepare himself for. And so it would be very interesting if one or other of you, or maybe two of you, can tell us some of the initiatives which you took up with some amount of hope, with some amount of ROI, but which actually did not work out the way it should have worked out, or the way you anticipated it. You know, the flip side of the...
So I'll give you some examples. Like I said, that process were connected earlier also, then we lately started connecting our assets and making assets more smart. So during that journey, we started putting sensors which were wired sensor. And when we put so many wire sensors, you need people to maintain. You'll find that some of the days wires have been cut. So it's not giving. So sustaining was also becoming a problem. Then we started going for experimenting with wireless sensor. Then we came across with some of the wireless sensor. Then when you go for wireless sensor, if you talk about certain techniques, in that you need high frequency data. So that was not possible with wireless sensor. Then we experimented on that, and we came across with use of different data capturing technique as well as wireless sensor, which is battery backed up. And we could fulfill both the requirement, getting high speed data as well as reliable and maintenance free kind of equipment. So those were some of the challenges which we encountered.